There's red. I'm seeing red.
Seeing red.
There's red. Okay, we got red. All right, red. So that game, for a game you won by 17, my goodness, it felt like it was anything but, right? You're down double figures, you're up double figures. They're coming back. What led to your ability to close that one out as strong as you did on Saturday?
I just think we got a tremendous effort from the team. I thought our bench, Malik and Quadir and Samir, those guys really came in and gave us a big boost and big lift. And it's kind of been like that the last probably 10 games where like our bench has been really contributing, giving us some extra energy. And so, we've had, that was a really good team win. I think we've had some really good team wins. Even in the loss to Miami, I thought, we still had, 8 and 9 guys really stepping up and contributing, and Justin Taylor as well in that game. So, I think, just the guys that kind of stepped on the floor, they gave us a different impact and burst was really what kind of rallied us.
Yeah, well, let's start with the bench then, Red. And, Kadir Copeland is not a name we've mentioned recently. He's not played a ton of minutes, if any minutes, recently in ACC play. It looked like Bell and Taylor were kind of struggling, not really giving the energy early. When you guys went to the press, Kadir came in. What stood out about what he did? It looked like he got his kind of boundless energy pointed in the right direction on Saturday for you.
Yeah, I thought, Coach went with the press to try to change the pace up, speed some things up, and I thought Quadir came in there and had good energy. He attacked the basket, he just kind of flew around, got 6 rebounds, 4 points, cut back door. He was just active, and I think at that time, that's what the team needed. And I thought Coach did a great job of making that call. And Quadir, to his credit, he hasn't played in a while. He was ready when his name was called. So, again, it's great to have that luxury on the bench, to be able to go to your bench and get some production from there.
Yeah, I think when you had that 17-0 run, I don't know if there was a sub during it, but like the primary lineup there, it was Joe and 4 bench guys, right? Like Samir was out there, Copeland was out there, Malik was on the court, and Munir, I think, was on the court most of the time as well. To be able to have that 5 out there and make the most important run of the game's got to say something to you going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you say that 5 is funny. You look at it statistically. Munir, probably he leads the country in block shots per minute. So, so you got that guy out there, and then you got Malik Brown, who's probably leading, in the tops in the country in rebounds per minute and steals per minute. So, we went with a really, guys that have made an impact. Kind of became a defensive unit, so to speak, to get those guys, to get us back into the game.
Yeah, Malik, speaking of him, and it's weird for a guy that had 18 points in the game. It's one of the biggest games he's had so far in his career. Kind of got lost in the wash a bit, I think, because of how well Joe played. But, the play that stood out for me, Red, from Malik, that like you're in the middle stages of that run in the first half. There was, a missed shot, a long rebound, something. Georgia Tech's bringing it up, and Malik just ran over, took it back. No, we're not quite done with this.
Yeah, we see that a lot in practice, man. He has unbelievable hands. He has 7'2", reach, but his hands are unbelievable. He made a catch in the Miami game on a dead run, just snared it in and kind of caught it and laid it in. I don't know if people really understand how difficult that catch was, and not to travel and catch it in traffic. But he has unbelievable hands, has a great feel, and defensively he gets his hands on a lot of deflections. He shoots the passing lanes. So no, he's a really good defender.
Yeah, it feels to me, looking at the way he played, that, he operates in a spot on the floor that he's just well suited to. That seems obvious, but he's in the right spot on the floor. It's near the basket. He's making stuff happen, and he knows what lane he's supposed to be in. Right?
Yeah, I mean, he plays. That's where he's comfortable at. Like you said, I mean, I was actually, in high school. It was very similar to him. Kind of just rolling around defensively and then offensively. He always had good rebounding numbers, so you knew that would translate. He does a really good job of positioning himself, and he just knows. He has a knack for it.
Red Autry is our guest, joined every Monday, brought to us by Apex and 110 Grill and Destiny USA. And Red, we talked about the press, and obviously, it was interesting because it wasn't forcing turnovers, but it changed the tempo of the game. What kind of weapon has that become for you guys this year? And, what's the realistic amount you can use the press in the game before, other teams get used to it and it's not as effective anymore?
Well, I think when we've used the press this year, I don't know if we've generated a lot of turnovers. What we've done is generated guys taking quicker shots, and we've been able to get the rebound and get the ball back up the court quicker. So I think it's all about timing. I think you can use it. I think it's all about when you use it, the timing of in the game to use it. Again, like if I broke it down, I don't know how many steals we've gotten from the press, but it's sped the other team up and allowed them to take quicker shots. And we've been, able to rebound the ball and get it back up the court. So, but it's something that we've had. We couldn't do it a lot last year. With this group, we have some guys that we can really do it with, and it's worked so far for us, and it's been a weapon for us.
I'd say, Red, we often get the question or the thought like, well, if it works so well for 4 minutes, why aren't they doing it the whole game? Why don't they just come out pressing it and play the whole game that way? What's the balance of that idea of, okay, this has worked when we've done it versus how much you're able to do it over the course of 40 minutes?
Well, I think it's a press that is short term. I think eventually if you press right from the beginning, they're gonna get easy shots. They're gonna start making those shots. It won't be a situational thing. I think when we put the press on, it becomes a situational thing, and it puts the offense they have to make a decision. Sometimes they hold it out and work it. Sometimes they take quicker shots. And again, if those shots go in, you say, man, why do they press? So it's just that risk reward type deal. But you can't. It's not a press. And I don't think you can press for long periods of time in college basketball. Today's athletes and today's players are so skilled and so good. I think over a long period of time, I think it would probably be more damaging than effective.
Yeah, to make everybody listening right now feel old, like the 40 minutes of hell in Arkansas and all that's almost 30 years ago now. Yeah. It's been a minute, right, since that stuff worked?
Yeah, you can't do that stuff, man. These guys, all these players are skilled. They shoot the ball extremely well now. And again, if you press someone for 40 minutes in today's game, I think, especially in college, I think you'll give up I think it'll be more damaging than rewarding, at the end.
All right, so, people wondered about that. Why does it work for 4 minutes and not 30 minutes? There's a little look inside that from Red. And we got to ask you about Joe. In my mind, Red, that's the best game he's ever played in a Cuse uniform. Did it pop that way to you watching the game live on Saturday?
You know what? He's been playing really well at a high level for a while now. So, no, it didn't jump off like that. But he really had it going. I've seen him score less, but really impact the game in different ways. But he had it going, and I thought he did that in Georgia Tech. But it didn't really kind of come across my mind at that time that that might be his best game that he's played. But he's been playing really at a high level these last 7, 8, 9 games. To be honest with you.
It just feels like, at least to me, right, it's kind of organized your offense in a way that, starting the season, it's like, okay, who is the number one option? Now it's like, okay, Joe's the number one option, then maybe you can slot in Judah and Jesse and go from there. Has it given you guys, I guess, more clarity on what you're doing at that end of the court?
Yeah, we knew who our big three is. We know that Joe's a big part of our team. I think our guys understand that. I think they really understand how important it is now, as we've been able to string together some games, that when Joe plays well, it opens it up for everyone else, and we got to try to get him the ball in the right situations. But he's making a lot of plays on his own as well. But we need him to play well for us to have a chance to be good.
All right, Red, what is this Carolina team? Because, on one hand, they're the national runner-up from last year, and they were number one at one point this year. Then they had the losing streak, and then they're kind of back and forth. Have you made heads or tails of this team yet? Is it as simple as when Baycott's healthy, or is there something else here?
No, again, I think a lot of some of their losses had injuries. They weren't fully healthy. I think they're fully healthy now. They got everyone back. Very good team. They still rebound the ball. They still run the ball. And Baycott, is arguably the best center in our conference and in the country. He's a double-double machine. And they have two high-level guards in Caleb Love and R.J. Davis, guys that have been there. Like you said, they went to the Final Four. This is pretty much the same team from last year, so they have experience. But very good North Carolina team. And from what I've seen in these last 2 years, watching them, they always seems like they're starting to play well in mid-January to February, and I see that happening right now. Them forming into to make that late push.
Yeah, and you look at Armando Baycott, he's their leader right now in the games he has. I mean, he's 20 and 15, stuff like that. That's a normal game for him. Last year, you guys took him to overtime. They got you late. That was after Jesse was hurt. So even Baycott, Baycott 2 years ago when they might have played against each other, he wasn't this yet. This will be the first, I think, real time those guys are playing against each other at their best. What kind of matchup are you expecting with those two going against each other?
It's going to be a war down there. Baycott, he brings the energy, and I'm sure Jesse is excited for the challenge. Our team is excited for this challenge, and especially being that it's at the Dome. So it'll be a war down there. I'm sure. Baker will be, he's the most consistent big man, in the league. So he'll you can just count on him. He'll be ready to go, and I'm sure our guys, Jesse and Munir, and we'll try to do it by committee to try to slow him down a little bit.
All right, Red. Looking forward to it. Tomorrow should be a fun one. Houston, Carolina at 9 o'clock. Good luck to you, Red. And we'll do it again next Monday right here.
Thanks,
okay?
guys. Take care. Take care, Brian.
That is Red Autry, brought to us every Monday at 2:30 by Apex and the 110 Grill. Both of them you can find it in Destiny, USA. Always good to chat to Red and break it down, see what we saw on the weekend on a Monday. Next week we'll be able to talk about the Carolina game. Virginia Tech is coming up, and then Big Monday. The Orange are on Big Monday next Monday. Suppose I should promise you Red every Monday. Every Monday with caveats. We should kind of check with Red to make sure he can do next Monday. 2:30 on a game day, he'll be actively busy because that's when they watch film on Monday. So he's brought to you next Monday at 2:30, but probably can't do that. So we'll work that out. That is called scheduling the show live on air when the things cross your mind. That probably should have crossed your mind before that. With that, we'll take a break. We made picks last week on the show. The man who sort of knows made picks. Mario made picks. Oh, boy. I hope you picked the opposite. You picked the opposite. You've got a yacht. If you pick those picks, well, I hope you'd already bought your groceries this week. Yeah. That kind of week. That kind of week. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, a little recap of the picks. Getting to football coming up top of the hour. Giants and Bills fans, how are we all doing today? How are we all doing, and how is the feeling different from one fan base to the other after the blowouts of both occurred Saturday and Sunday this past weekend? All that as we roll along. And tickets. 2 tickets. Tickets here. 2 tickets to North Carolina. 2:30. 3:30. It's 2:48. Can't give away tickets at 2:30. 2 tickets, 3:30. Trivia here. All that as we move along here at SKSportsTalk.com and ESPN Radio.